Meet Etika, a man filled with charisma and who is charming and lighthearted, yet always acting hard and not giving a shit about what others say or do. A man who follows his heart no matter where it might lead or what trouble it may get him into. A man who knew what he was destined to do and went towards his destiny full throttle at breakneck speed until he reached his destination. A man who was always happy even when he was hurting. A man who, even in death, his words ring true. And I'm not just talking about the viral video he made. I'm talking about throughout his YouTube career and throughout his life. All the serious stuff he talked about, and the lighthearted stuff too. All those words ring true to this day, and they speak to me, and they mean a lot to me. Everything he said was honest, and he meant every single word. He was a man both courageous and kind. A man who was funny yet endearing. He was one of my biggest inspirations for YouTube and still is, and always will be. This is the story of how and why Etika is my biggest inspiration. It was 2013, and during this time, Poketubers were on the rise, and were a pretty big deal back then. And everyone was aspiring to be a Poketuber and a Pokemon YouTuber. And by everyone, I do mean everyone, me included. But there was one group of people that stood high and far above the rest. One of these people's careers would last longer than any of the rest, and whose legacy would be remembered for years throughout his lifetime and beyond. While the rest wouldn't be as successful or reach the same amount of growth that he did. Or these group of people had held a podcast called the Pokemon Roundtable, which had the likes of Shofu, PK Sparks, a couple of other people, and of course Etika. Now, for my first and only memory of that podcast, he was arguing with the others about Pokemon stuff. At least I remember. That's what I remember. And that's my first memory of him. Which, unlike the others, which unlike other people's first impressions of memories of him, may not seem as groundbreaking or off the charts or life-changing, but it was one of my first impressions. And also, I barely knew of who he was, and I just thought he was cool though, because mainly, I don't judge people based off first impressions. And second, I don't know, I thought he was a chill guy. I mean, sure, he was writing about Pokemon, but then again, don't we all run when we all feel strongly about something? The next memory I have of him is faint. But I think it's one of the very first interactions with him. It was when I did my own Poketuber Awards on Twitter. Yes, it was a mess and a shit show, I know. But he still responded to it. Somehow, some way. I don't really remember about it, but I do remember that he did mention me or send me an ad. So, hey, that's something. Then a few years passed. I would transition from being a Twitch streamer, mainly, to doing YouTube streams and Geometry Dash. And during this time, Etika did a stream of him unboxing the Wii U he got from I forgot how to say this name. Kobamani 456. And he was so happy and grateful, and I could see genuine joy from him that he got a Wii U and appreciation that he got something from his friend. Which you usually don't see that very often anymore, which is kind of really sad. But he stood out to me about that. I also remember his green screen. I think it was like dark green or something. Or it wasn't like darker color. I don't really remember. I just know it was a green screen. Where he collabed with I do also remember when he collabed with Obi-Wan Plays. He made a full-on meme. Well, people made a full-on meme of him. And so he made a news report. And I think that's part of where Etika World Network is based on. I don't know the whole lore, but I do remember the Etika World Network. I also remember when that was his original channel. I also remember when he I do remember when he made a video about making money from Sony. That was funny. I forgot. And he made like a song and dancing and stuff in New York. It was kind of funny. Etika from the Etika World Network here, he would say. Around this time, I fell in love with his videos and streams, so I tuned in whenever I could, and I was always having a blast watching him. I was geeking out, laughing, watching him wild out and share stories of him and his history and his childhood and all this stuff that he went through, like his high school and stuff. And the Beats League, oh god. I remember his JoJo phase when he played Doki Doki Literature Club, Galgun, and Senator Cognitive Reflections. And also, he also read my donation out loud and promised to watch my stream. But then again, he made a lot of promises, didn't he? Like Fire Emblem, finishing that, finishing a bunch of animes, finishing a bunch of games, doing more content, doing content that people were asking for. He mentioned, oh, and he did saw a lot. That's where the term Star Voice come from, I feel like. One time, his mic was muted, and he was talking, but no one could hear him. I don't know, that's just a weird memory of him. But I do remember that time, that stream. But he did, I don't even think he realized the whole time his mic was muted. I remember having my speakers loud. I do remember this. I remember when my speakers were loud. Oh, and I totally forgot that they were loud, and I also forgot that my windows was open at my first apartment. And apparently the whole neighborhood could hear him scream and react to Senator Cognitive Reflections. So that was embarrassing. And to them, it sounded like somebody was in my house screaming in pain. I don't know why they thought that, but they were older people, I guess. So they didn't really know about YouTube or anything. Maybe they did, I don't know. I just know that the cops came at that time, but luckily they were really chill about it, and and so basically they understood, and they said, be more careful next time. And I said, yeah, and then I instantly closed the window. When I had the right after that, I instantly closed the window. I locked the window. I'm like, no, never opening the window again. I remember when he reacted to Ridley, I was laughing so hard. Like, he legit broke his flipping. I think he also one time, but he broke the little shelf thing, didn't he? Yeah, that was funny. With two hands, he broke it in half. That was funny. I remember one time he also what did he do? He also broke a light bulb on his head. He was going crazy. That was interesting times. There's a lot more memories, but before I finish up here, I just want to share some memories and like my first memories of him. But before I finish up, though, this is basically the end of the video. But I do want to, because I don't want it too long. I do want to say just a closing things. One, he's awesome. He always, like I said, he always spoke. Like I mentioned most of the stuff, but I remember one of the. I mentioned most of the stuff that why he's inspiring in the beginning, but I just want to share memories of him and stuff. But I also want to say why he's inspired, because he was always honest. He was always a good person. I feel like he was a genuinely good person, and he always tried to be funny and trying to please people. He didn't give a shit what any shit talker said. He's always inspiring me for that, and like a bunch of other reasons too. Like he had a mental illness. I didn't even know that because I have a mental illness, and the fact that he struggled with that and still was the way he was is super inspiring to me even to this day. Unfortunately, he has passed away, and it's been a couple years, but I do know that he is really inspiring to me. And I'm not trying to compare me to him because I'll never be like him. There was a time when I tried to be as hype as him, and he was a huge inspiration for the hype show. He was a huge inspiration for a lot of stuff. Then I realized I gotta just be how I'm feeling. And usually the time I am feeling hype. Like I legit do feel hype. But sometimes it's feel chill, like right now. But he always was himself, and that's the core takeaway from that I felt that he really inspired me that way. He showed everyone that you can make it just by being yourself. A lot of people still to this day don't realize that. But I feel like if we were to take one thing away, not just from like mental health and the fact that take care of yourself and your mental health is important, and not only take care of your friends and believe in yourself, but I forget what I was saying. But anyways, that's basically it. I'm sorry I didn't really have the rest planned, but that was basically all I had to say, because he's just a huge inspiration to me. This is something I really want to get off my chest. So thank you, Etika. I never got to truly make a video and put it into words and share the memories, but like you always were somebody that I looked up to in my content and everything. I always aspire to be like you. I know I can never be like you, but I will strive to be myself, and that's something you taught me. So thank you, Etika. Anyways, guys, Joy-Con boys forever, and also Joy-Con men. I remember that Joy-Con men. I remember I also made the Joy-Con boys because of him. Joy-Con boys. And then also remember, have a great. I'm gonna get on out here, and remember to have a damn good one.